بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is our program, Secrets of Fasting, and this is Dr. Tareq Rasheed. Now, we will discuss a concept in Ramadan that is called the integration of all blessings from God. As we noticed and as we discussed in the previous episodes, Ramadan is all blessings come in Ramadan. So it is the integration of all and almost all Arkan al-Islam comes. So you have fasting with all the precedences and surpluses that we discussed. You are praying while you are in fasting. You are reading Quran. If you have the time to go for Umrah, so it's highly recommended. And it's equal a Hajj, Zakah, Sadaqat, all of these Zakat al-Fitr, you are practicing integration of pillars, integration of ibadat in this holy month, and by this you are actually purifying yourself so that you can go for heaven with all things. Wa maghfur laka, inshallah, that God will actually help us to go without any mistakes or dhunub, hopefully by this holy month. And alayhi salatu wassalam said, قال عليه الصلاة والسلام إن لله عتقاء في كل يوم وليلة. So in each day and night in Ramadan, there are people who are free from an-nar. Let's go for some of the secrets of Ramadan. Now, Ramadan is, they found that by fasting you can cure lots of sickness and illness, and I will discuss some of the medical researches that was done to see what is the effect of fasting on the human being. Of course, so the effect of fasting is not only for the physical body, but also for the emotional, for the concept of the mental concept. So the whole concept of energy comes through fasting. So some of the modern diseases, actually there are the killing diseases now all over the world, is the cancer, the diabetes, heart diseases, blood pressure. All of these are considered as a very dangerous sickness or illness. And by medical research that has been done all over the world in several parts of the countries all over the world have supported that by fasting, actually you correct some of these diseases, or even you prevent such diseases. And they found that cancer is actually a nutrition problem. So when we go for some sort of some food may cause cancer, and it's highly recommended in fasting. In fasting, it will help to flourish your cells. So everything actually in diseases is reversible, but if you practice the habits of health and being healthy. So cancer is one of the diseases that actually is cured by practice fasting. But also, even people who does not have cancer, by fasting, you prevent the occurrence of cancer in the cells of the human. So whatever fasting is, so whether you fast in Ramadan, or even if you go for fasting at-tatawwu', or even intermittent fasting. And now you'll find in other religions now and in other parts of the world, you'll find people practicing intermittent fasting, and by intermittent fasting that they stop eating for continuous number of hours, and they go, for example, for 16-8. This is the 24 hours of the day. So they stop eating for 16 hours, then they took some sort of lunch or dinner or breakfast in the 8 hours. Some people go for 14-10, 12-12. However, whatever type of intermittent fasting they find, by practicing this type of intermittent fasting, you are supporting your body, you are actually reducing the possibility and the risk of cancer. So this is one illness that is highly affected by fasting, which is cancer. Also, our Prophet Muhammad recommended us not to eat the two whites, or al-abyadan, which is the sugar and the salt. And you know that most of the problems now in diabetes is due to the highest level of sugar in our bloods, and salt will increase the blood pressure. So carbs is a problem, and now there are some sort of diets all over the world, some new practices that to practice removing carbs from the nutrition. Again, it's some sort of fasting, because to remind you, fasting is preventing something from happening. So once you practice fasting, you increase your health. And they found that diabetes type 2 is a reversible disease. So you can actually get rid of this disease by only practicing fasting and some sort of healthy nutrition that may affect badly your health. And emotionally, in fasting, once you practice even good sleeping and good body, by this you are increasing the importance of hormones. And God, subhanallah, supported the human body with lots of hormones. We start with the hormone of the growing hormone. We have the insulin hormone, which for actually reducing sugar. We have cortisol hormone to fight against stress. We have adrenaline hormone. All these hormones, subhanallah, acting in integration method and integration approach. So once you affect one of them, actually you are affecting your health. Because of this, now the new practice start getting away from the chemicals and the medicine that depend on chemicals, and we go for fasting or getting back to nature by eating natural food, vegetables, fruit, meat, etc., fish. But they found that if industry affect food, this will actually accelerate lots of problems, especially insulin. You will get some sort of insulin resistance will affect being diabetes, also cancer. So this is one of the surpluses of fasting, is the physical health of people. Also, I mentioned the concept of emotional, psychological health is actually increases by practicing fasting. Another point to mention, that Ramadan is a change. It's a change of everything actually on all levels. First, you have change of timing. So we usually in ordinary days we go for breakfast, lunch, dinner, in between meals, drinking. Now we have to change and stop this. So the first change is even in eating and drinking timing. It's a change of routine tasks. And usually they found one of the things that may cause depression to people is to have some sort of routine in life. But also the law of change in Quran, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الله لا يغير ما بقوم حتى يغيروا ما بأنفسهم. So to start change, you have to start change from within. So you have to be convinced that actually fasting is supporting you. So once you believe from in, you actually can manage this change. Also, it's changed the types of relations. You will find in most countries that they said that in Ramadan, we gather more as a family. The modern way of life today is that you will find fathers and mothers all working, kids in school and so on. But subhanallah, in Ramadan, at iftar, all the family gather. So as if it's a change for supporting the family relations by this holy month. It's all barakah this month. So we can take advantage from this change in all levels of our lives. The second secret, so this is the first secret, which is the secret of the physical health and getting rid of some of the illness and sickness that usually accompanied not fasting. The second secret is now due to radiation, and we face radiation all over our life. You will find radiation in hospitals, in MRI and CT scan. You find radiation from the technology, which is called the blue radiation, from our mobiles, from the desktops, from computers. All around us, you will have different types of radiation, and these types of radiation, they found by fasting, you reduce the risk of having some errors or cancer due to this type of radiation. Also, there is some sort of vocal radiation or pollution, nuclear, and so on. So once we practice fasting, we reduce the possibility and risk of affecting our cells negatively in our body. And it has been also proved by fasting, we clean the body of every harmful subjects or substances that enter our bodies. Third secret, people are suffering all over the world. We have poverty level, we have financial problems, we have psychological problems, we have some sort of social problems, emotional problems, and we have several negative emotions now affecting most people. We have depression, we have anger, we have high level of stress, worry, fear, and all of these negative emotions. And subhanallah, they found by fasting you reduce lots of all these negative emotions. So as if also fasting, as if it's a washing from all these negative emotions affecting the self. So fasting has a magical impact on all levels. And now, even in meditation, they recommend in modern practices that fasting with meditation will help the body to reduce the effect of negative emotions. And in this modern world that we live, actually, you are facing lots of problems. Because of this, now the United Nations announced 17 Sustainable Development Goals. It's called the 17 SDGs for all nations for the agenda of 2030. And we found that, for example, they have the first goal is to provide or resist hunger, resist poverty, and the well-being. And subhanallah, by fasting, you reduce all these three main goals. And then they go for several other goals. Not the idea is to discuss all these goals, but the first three goals of the United Nations is to fight poverty, to fight and reduce hunger, and the well-being and fitness of people. And subhanallah, as I mentioned, fasting will help the three. Because once you practice fasting, you give zakat al-fitr, we are reducing poverty, we are helping hunger people, and then we are achieving a good health and good well-being. This is also supported by modern research in the world. And the fourth secret is what we call the obesity problem. And the obesity problem is now a major problem in several parts of the world because of the modern style of life, the new different food that entered to the menu of most people, going for what we call fast food, and all of these actually harm our health. So because of this, obesity became one of the major problems that most countries are suffering from its impact, because by obesity we have several sickness and illness problems, including cancer, including diabetes. And imagine that even kids now and children in several parts of the world are suffering from obesity. By fasting, they found that you reduce obesity, you lose some sort of weight that is not recommended, then you reduce some sort of fat that threaten your life. All of these are surpluses of fasting to clarify your body, your health all over. And also they found the following. There is the UNODC, which is the United Nations Office for Drugs and Crime. The impact of drugs, and several peoples now are suffering from drugs, especially they found from the age range between 17 to 35. In several countries, they are trying to fight the drug problem, because once we have a drug problem affecting the youth, then in such a case the crime is increasing and lots of negative issue is happening in the society. And subhanallah, they found also by fasting you reduce the direction of drugs. So the youth is highly recommended for fasting, because they will direct their attention into God. They will go for purity, which is the taqwa. In such a case, we reduce the possibility of going to drugs. Sometimes when we have lots of free time for youth, when they have no relations, we have problems in relations, in the family relations, the easiest way for most youth is to go for a drug. So they found, subhanAllah, by fasting, you reduce this problem of drugs and the dependency of drugs and the crime problem. The sixth secret of fasting is, now there is a problem, is most youth is not being able to get married. And because of this problem of not being able to get married, lots of problems on the social level in several countries now start occurring. So if people cannot marry, this will actually, for youth, they will, how to resist this desire of getting to have a wife. If this is the case, several crimes now is happening all over countries because most youth are unable to go for marriage. And alayhi salatu wassalam said, يا معشر الشباب من استطاع منكم الباءة فليتزوج فإنه أغض للبصر وأحصن للفرج ومن لم يستطع فعليه الصيام فإنه له وجاء. And here our Prophet Muhammad recommends youth, if they can get married, so do it if you can get married. And there here now we can go for parents to go for the direction and the example of our Prophet Muhammad, facilitate for the youth who are pure youth. The facilitation of marriage is highly needed. عليه الصلاة والسلام قول إذا أتاكم من ترضون خلقه ودينه فزوجوه ألا تفعلوا يكن فتنة ويكن فتنة من أتاكم ترضون دينه وخلقه فزوجوه. And this is recommendation by Prophet Muhammad, that whenever you get a youth that is having a high ethical attitude and he is a Muslim, so we have to facilitate marriage in order to help the youth to get this. So all of this is actually, again, we find that fasting will prevent the youth from going in direction other than the directions of positivity and obeying our God. So this, in this case, or in this episode, we mentioned the different secrets of this important ibadah, fasting. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is our program, Secrets of Fasting, and this is Dr. Tareq Rasheed.